Trio. Today we're going to go over solving rational equations for a variable. So given a formula or an equation, your teacher may ask you to solve for a specific variable. This is a famous formula you'll see in chemistry, but algebra teachers love to put this on a test and say solve for p sub 1. So this is read as p sub 1 times v sub 1 divided by t sub 1 is equal to p sub 2 times v sub 2 divided by t sub 2. Again, this is a formula in chemistry with temperature and volume and pressure. We're looking for the initial pressure p sub 1. Now, this is how you begin. You find the LCD. In this case, the lowest common denominator would be T1, T2, or you could just say, what do I need to do to get rid of, or to get P sub 1 by itself? I could multiply by the LCD and then divide, or I can multiply by the reciprocal of V sub 1, T sub 1. That's the way I like to do it, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say T sub 1, V sub 1, because that's the reciprocal of this part of the fraction, times this fraction, P1, V1, T1. This will cancel this will cancel that. But whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So again, I'm going to multiply T1 over V1 times this fraction, P2, V2, all over T2. When I do that, this cancels, and I have P1 equals, multiplying straight across, T1, P2, V2, V1, T2. And it's done. That's isolating the variable that's indicated in the problem. I'll give you another example or two more examples and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Here's another example. Again, we're solving rational equations for a specific variable. This one says solve I equals E over R plus R for R. Now, sometimes you have the same variable but upper and lower case. This is one example. This is a business problem for elasticity. And R is going to be the rate and initial rate and final rate. So now we're looking for R. So again, here we go. I'm going to multiply by the LCD. And in this case, the LCD is just the only denominator there. R plus R. So R plus R times I equals the quantity R plus R times the fraction E over R plus R. Here, the denominator cancels. Here, I'm going to use the distributive property. And let's see, we will get IR plus IR equals E, because this denominator cancels. Now, if I want to get capital R by itself, I need to move IR over. So I will subtract. Minus IR minus IR. I capital R equals E minus I lowercase r. These are not like terms, so we can't combine any further than that. But I can isolate capital R by dividing by I. So I capital R all over I equals E minus I lowercase r all over I. Capital R is now isolated. E minus IR all over I is the answer. Notice that these two capital I's do not cancel because this is a binomial in the numerator. We would have to divide each part of the binomial if we wanted to cancel the I, but we will still have the I over here in this part. So it's easier just to leave it as is. This is the final answer. And I will be back with another problem just like this one, and I'll be back real quick with another example. Welcome back. Here I am again with our final example for solving rational equations for a variable. This is a physics or electronics formula, very famous. 1 over R1 plus 1 over R2 equals 1 over RT. We're asked to solve for R sub t. R sub t means the total resistance in a circuit. So now we're going to solve this. So first thing we need to do is find the LCD. So I like to write LCD equals R1, R2, RT. We take the LCD, we multiply it across the whole equation to clear our fractions. R1, R2, RT times 1 over R1 plus 1 over R2 equals R1, R2, RT times 1 over RT. When we do that, we use the distributive property here, which is my favorite property to use. We multiply it to here, and we multiply it to here. When we multiply to the first fraction, that denominator cancels, we're left with RT and R2. When we multiply to the second fraction, R2 is eliminated, so we're left with R1 times R sub t. We multiply it to this fraction, R sub t is eliminated. Now we have R1 and R2. So far, so good. We have RT on one side. So now what we have to do is use the distributive property in reverse and pull out what we're looking for, R sub t. So we factor it out, we get R sub t times R sub 2 plus R sub 1 equals R sub 1 times R sub 2. Now to get R sub t by itself, all we have to do is divide both sides. So R sub t times R sub 2 plus R sub 1 all over R sub 2 plus R sub 1. Whatever you do to one side, you got to do to the other. R sub 1, R sub 2 over the quantity R sub 2 plus R sub 1. We have R sub t equals, now notice that this is addition in the denominator, so we could reverse that one. It's proper etiquette to write R sub 1 first and then R sub 2. So I'm going to do that. R1, R2, R1, R2, and we are done. And actually we don't need the parentheses in the denominator because that's just the denominator. I'll just extend that fraction to show it. And again, in addition, 1 plus 2 is the same as 2 plus 1. And we're done. That's it for this video. Go Trio!